Alright, so, been a while since I played this too, but we'll just jump back in to Little Redhead Adventures in Asphyxia. Hopefully my save's still there. I guess it would be the one that's further. Oh, dramatic music. Hey, Sam! Sam! Samantha frowned. She could see Roberta opening and closing her mouth just like a fish, but she couldn't hear what she was saying. She could see Roberta oh, no, wait, sorry. Samantha's ears were filled with music and everything else was muffled. Jeez. Roberta sighed, and with one swift motion, she reached forward and plucked one of the buds out of Samantha's ears. Ah! Samantha blinked as though waking from a long dream, her lashes trembling. Hello, Bobby. What is it? You should know. If I knew, I wouldn't be asking. Fair enough. Alright, Miss Clever Clogs. Turn the volume down already. I don't want to spend the whole journey with your weird Germanic chanting playing in the background. There was no chanting in that. Oh, I'm sorry. Samantha fished her music player out of her pocket and clicked a few buttons. She always listened to music at full volume. It's not good for your... It was a bad habit, like biting her fingernails and cracking her wrist. One that she had never been able to shake, no matter how often Roberta scolded her. Some people listen to music to help them concentrate on boring tasks, but Samantha did precisely the opposite. She listened to music loud and oppressive to stop concentrating, so she could disengage from all of her worries. And Samantha had a lot of worries. Honestly, you'll go deaf one of these days, and you'll only have yourself to blame. Yes, Roberta. Can you even understand half of the music you listen to, anyway? Samantha smiled sheepishly, pressing her two index fingers together as she pondered her reply. I know a few words here and there. It's good enough. My German isn't that bad. However, it wasn't at the level where she would have been able to go to Germany and ask for directions or order food. The few phrases Samantha had picked up after listening to all that German folk metal weren't particularly useful. Mostly, they were overwrought expressions of deep Germanic angst. Then again, that suited Samantha perfectly. I don't really get it. Why is it always German? It's the only music you ever listen to. Maybe it's what I like. I'm not entirely sure. I just think it sounds passionate. You would think that. You can't understand what they're saying, after all. I suppose so. Maybe I'm just imposing my own meaning onto the lyrics. But is that really such a bad thing? Do what makes you happy. People do that all the time. Isn't that the simple act of having a conversation all about deriving your own interpretations of other people's words? That's pretty deep for 9:30 in the morning, isn't it? I apologize. Maybe I woke myself up a little too efficiently. Samantha held up a half-empty can of the Tiger Print energy drink, which had been resting between her thighs for the last 10 minutes or so. Roberta eyed the now lukewarm can with an untrusting eye. Just how many of those have you had, anyway? In the last half hour? Well, that's a good way to start it. I think this is my... Jeez. Your third. That's right. Is there anything wrong with that? Yeah. Maybe she should have followed Samantha when they stopped at that service station a while back. Samantha obviously couldn't be trusted to make decisions on her own. Stuff like that isn't good for you, you know? Especially not in such large doses. You'll make yourself sick and you'll rot your teeth. Everything in moderation. Maybe, but it did help wake me up, didn't it? And you wonder why your stomach hurts so often. You're poisoning your body. That's what Lillian says too. Or said, rather, because Lillian did not speak to her anymore. Samantha winced as though she had been stung. For some reason, Roberta, too, looked disgruntled. She's been looking disgruntled this whole time. More so than she had done when she had been berating Sam for her caffeine addiction. What does Lillian have to do with anything? I just thought, since she always told me off, maybe I should quit. Oh. Oh, so you'll listen to what Lillian says, but you won't listen to me. Is that what you're saying? Samantha's grip around the can of drink tightened. It crumpled underneath her fingers, leaving indents on either side. You do know Lillian had no interest in speaking to you again, don't you? It doesn't matter what you say or do now. She doesn't care. Jeez. I know that, but she means a lot to me. And I don't? I never said that, Bobby. You're jumping to conclusions. Samantha bit down on her lower lip. How could she explain herself when she did not fully understand what she meant either? Oh, good. This is exactly the kind of decision I want to make. She can either apologize or say nothing. Well, saying nothing doesn't seem like that's going to get us out of a jam. That seems like... I don't think inaction's going to fix this. We should apologize. I'm sorry, Roberta. I do value you, really. You have a funny way of showing it. Oh, sorry. It is difficult to believe such assertions when you so constantly do and say things that make me believe quite the contrary. I know that. I realize I'm not the best friend. I'm fickle and flighty, and I either demand too much of your attention or want none of it at all. I'm not particularly good at expressing myself, and when I try to explain how I feel, the words come out all jumbled up, as though they were spoken by somebody else. I really am sorry if I said or did anything to upset you. You know? Samantha's fingers curled into fists, taking handfuls of fabric from her skirt with them. Lillian is my friend. Or was, rather. Samantha winced. Thinking about her friendship with Lillian in the past tense, as opposed to the present, was still upsetting, even now. But you are my friend, too. Please forgive me. I know you have to put up with a lot, and I realize I can be incredibly annoying. You really can. You're the most annoying person that there is. I know. It's the only area I excel at, really. Roberta tried to remain aloof, but she could not. Samantha's wry comment slipped through a crack in her armor and, unbidden, raised a small smile to her lips. Well, they do say if you have it, you should flaunt it. In this case, however, I would not recommend it. I'll do my best, but I have precious little else to flaunt. In the end, maybe being annoying really was the only talent she had. Now that was a depressing thought. I'll be good at something. I'm finally free. Samantha couldn't help but note that De Quincey sounded a great deal more chipper than she had looked on the coach earlier. De Quincey's smile was wide, her eyes sparkling. It seemed she had already recovered from poor Hannah's untimely death. Samantha sighed. Why had she assumed that there was something gravely wrong with De Quincey anyway? Lillian was right. She really did have a morbid imagination, always assuming the worst like that. All right, De Quincey, don't go running off on your own. I am a teacher. Oh, I forgot she was a teacher. She looks so small. I am a teacher, not a shepherd, and I have no desire to hunt down any errant students who may stray from my flock. Everybody's, yes, miss. And the same goes for the rest of you. Miss Pope turned to face the congregation of St. Mary's students, her hands on her hips. If any of you get lost, I am not going to trouble myself over it. You are not in primary school anymore. You are old enough now to take some responsibility for your actions. Yes, miss. A dull chorus of voices answered back, fronted by De Quincey. Why did she sound so cheerful? She's going to lose us all in this plains, this oil painting here. Was it because she had an excuse to hang around Lillian for 2 whole days and maybe even gasp, shock, sandal, see her in her pajamas? De Quincey had always loved Lillian. She was borderline obsessed, and the border was growing thinner and thinner with every passing day. Although Samantha knew Lillian did not particularly care for De Quincey, Lillian did not particularly care for anyone save her younger brother. It still sung. She couldn't help but feel jealous. Why was De Quincey allowed to link arms with Lillian anyway? At least the unimpressed look on Lillian's face was so evident, even Samantha, standing several feet away, was able to spot it. Though Samantha couldn't hear what Lillian was saying, she saw the blonde girl shake De Quincey away, as one would remove a spider from the sleeve of their cardigan. Lillian's efforts, however, were in vain. As soon as she managed to free herself from De Quincey, the girl started clinging to her arm again, like a second skin. "Why are you being so cold, Lily? I thought we were friends." "Miss De Quincey." De Quincey jumped. "Yes. What is it, miss?" "Far be it from me to criticize your youthful zeal, but I fear you may be distracting some of your classmates. Could you please keep your hands to yourself?" De Quincey's cheeks turned light pink. She smiled bashfully and dug the tip of her shoe into the ground, tracing semicircles into the dirt. "Aha! Yes, miss." As Miss Pope lectured De Quincey on her poor conduct, Lillian took this as an opportunity to disentangle her arm from De Quincey's and walk away. "And while we're on the subject, something else is bothering me. Why do you never button up your shirt?" "Doesn't have... Oh, the outside has buttons, not the inside." "Well, I suppose it's because I'm opposed to the fascist system that's keeping all us students squashed underfoot. I want to show everyone I'm not just another cog in the machine, you know." "While I applaud your efforts, school is not. As many teachers will try to tell you, a place young people go to nurture their unique talents. It is a place where young people are sent, against their will, so they can learn how to follow orders and do as they are told. Anybody who informs you otherwise is a liar." Jeez. Wow. "Forgive me if I'm being rude, but you sound a little bitter, miss. If I sound bitter, it is because I am. Like you, De Quincey, I thought when I was young and foolish that I was an individual, and should therefore be allowed to express myself as such. I even dabbled in poetry. Can you imagine it?" "Poetry? Well, you are an English teacher." "Indeed. And do you know what kinds of people become English teachers?" There's no good answer for that. De Quincey pondered, an awkward smile on her face. "Don't answer anything. The kinds of people who aspire to become published authors or poets, but fail to achieve their goals?" This is why you shouldn't have answered it. Exactly. "When I entered the working world, I became far more cynical. You come to school to do your exams, get good results, and boost our school's reputation. And teachers who care about their students beyond what is written on a few slips of paper are few and far between." Jeez. Well, if you only care about my results, how I dress shouldn't matter, should it? Nice try, De Quincey, but that isn't going to cut it with me. You might be smart, but that doesn't amount to much if you only show up for half your lessons. Gosh darn it. Perhaps I could overlook your flagrant misconduct if you applied yourself more seriously, but as it is, I will have to ask you to button up your shirt." "Yes, miss. And can you do something about your hair in the future? The color is hardly school regulation." "But it took me 3 hours to dye it this color." "Oh wow, 3 whole hours. And it will take me less than 3 minutes to chop it all off with a pair of scissors." Jeez. "Is that what you would prefer? I could always buy a wig. Would that be acceptable?" "You may do whatever you like, so long as you can stop it being so blue." "Yes, miss." Alright, well, we're gonna cut it there. Finished with the rebellious De Quincey, Miss Pope turned her eagle eye towards Samantha. Boy, I cannot wait to get chided by this teacher. Well, that's gonna be the end for this one. We will get chewed out next time.